How are we doing, everyone? We've had a bit of a break, nice 4-day rest, but back for the G1 reviews. Happy to be back, excited to get into it. But before we get into this, how are you all feeling?
I can safely say I'm not too bad. Today was quite a day, if we're being honest, being quite a day. But I'm glad to be back on the channel and a bit of laugh and different varieties. But yeah, how are you feeling?
Not too bad today.
Good. I'm glad to hear. Obviously, guys, you know the score when it comes to G1. Myself and Josiah all the time, but Josiah obviously gets to be the boss of this because it gives me a little bit of a break. But before we do that, please do like, share, and subscribe to the Weekly Steelchair. We are 12 away from 400 subscribers, so please help us out best you can. Please do share this amongst friends and family that love pro wrestling, because you can certainly get a bit of a dynamic around here that's not going to give you bullshit, just fun and professional wrestling along the way, and interaction and fun. And lastly, before we dive into it, there is one other update as well regarding SummerSlam. So I'm not doing night 1 review, night 2 review as one show. Separate shows. I'm going to do it all in one. I think it's much easier. I think, quite frankly, the way it's going to be, if I'm going to be bored, I would rather do it all in one. If I'm not going to be bored, then we see how it goes. But I am doing it in full. So there will not be a SummerSlam Night 1 review on Sunday. If you ask for it, you're getting told to fuck off. Plain and simple, I will tell you to fuck off on Sunday if you ask me for a SummerSlam Night 1 review. It's going to be all on Monday. Nice and easy, nice and simple. And we'll get through it in the best way. So that's the aim. Reminder as well. Zodiac, the jammiest bastard on the planet. You have, of course, your predictions championship on the line this weekend. So don't worry. If you don't win on night 1, you could still win on night 2, because you need the full total nights to beat you to take your title. But we're going to see how it goes. We're going to have a bit of a laugh. So that's the aim. SummerSlam full review will be on Monday. And if you want to join it, you're more than welcome. Prediction shows tomorrow. There's 3 hours of pre-show bullshit. So
for both nights, by the way.
Exactly, which is ridiculous, because what exactly are they going to do for 3 hours except all be a bunch of clowns, because they're all clowns anyway. Yeah. We'll figure out. I'm thinking a little bit early. Just because there's a lot on. I want to give each match a little bit of an in-depth preview, and I want to give the enjoyment of, well, I say enjoyment, but it's not really. I want to get the enjoyment the best we can from the Steelchair for SummerSlam. So 6:30 p.m. UK time tomorrow. And then after we've done the predictions, we'll do a wee quiz, and then we'll wrap up, and then that'll be it. So, and I think just because of the sake of it, there will be some content as well over the weekend as well. Like myself and Josiah will obviously be here, but that is the aim. So, yes, there you go. So, there's your updates. If you ask me for a review on Sunday, that's your answer. So, cheers in advance. Yeah, Billy's claiming that Seth Rollins is going to cash in the Money in the Bank at SummerSlam on Punk. I think, and I'm saying this now, if he does, it's a cop-out. He should be going after the WWE title.
Yeah, I was saying this as well. I'm scared that that's going to happen as well, and I feel like that Punk versus Rollins feud needs to just stop now.
Yeah, we don't need it. Like we absolutely do not need this feud. It's pointless. Punk should be the champion when Samuel Virtue Signaler goes after him. Because it's probably going to be Zayn versus Punk. So there you go. So anyway, there's your responses. Big man, over to you.
Okay, so firstly, we're going to review Night 8. We're doing Night 8 and Night 9. So the matches for Night 8 were Great-O-Khan versus El Phantasmo. We had Driller Maloney versus Ren Narita. Shingo Takagi versus Shota Umino. And we had Zack Sabre Jr. versus Konosuke Takeshita.
Those were really good matches, well, apart from one. As in permanently, or they've just cancelled this week's show? Because I think it's funny if they've cancelled Speed because that's all about the internet. Oh, wait, hold on. Never mind. They don't know what that is. I've never watched it anyway. I'm quite proud. But yeah, we had two really good matches, one outstanding performance in a traditional expected match, and then one where it was back to expectations.
Yeah. But we'll get into that when the time comes.
Absolutely.
So to kick off the night, well, not the night. To kick off the G1 matches, we had Great-O-Khan and El Phantasmo, which started with Great-O-Khan ambushing ELP as soon as the bell rang, which ELP quickly rebounded from, surprisingly. So it was a quick dive to the outside, and then they went into the crowd and had a little scuffle, which I am also getting a bit tired of in this G1 because it seems like pretty much every match wrestlers are going into the crowd rests.
Yeah, it's not fun at all.
Yeah, like it was fun the first few times they did it, but once it keeps happening every single match in every single night, it gets a bit much for me.
Yeah, I think as well when you look at the flow of the matches, if you're continuously going into the crowd area, yes, it's good to get the crowd involved, but it shouldn't be for every match. It should be reserved for, in my opinion, this the opening and maybe the main. But if you're doing it every single match, it
kind of loses its
feeling. Yeah.
It loses like its relevance because like it's happening so often, like it doesn't feel special. Like
yeah, exactly. That's the mannerisms I get from it.
Yeah, but yeah, whilst they were in the crowd, you see Great-O-Khan working on El Phantasmo's back because obviously they've had a feud going on for pretty much the whole year, barring the ELP Takeshita feud. It's pretty much been O-Khan and ELP feuding over that title.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much what you saw in the crowd was pretty much what you saw when O-Khan won the title by countout, so it was just like body slamming ELP's back onto chairs, like ramming him into the guardrail as well. But then they eventually get back into the ring, but because ELP's back so knackered, he can't mount much offense. So it's just Great-O-Khan continuing to slowly dissect ELP, which was not fun to watch.
Yeah.
But then eventually ELP did manage to flurry. He hit the UFO, but he couldn't hit the CR2 because his back's knackered.
Yeah.
And then O-Khan went for the claw the first time.
Yeah.
Which was counted into a sudden death, which got a 2 count. And then they wrestled towards the ropes. We thought that O-Khan was going to do a TTD off of the ropes. But ELP managed to kind of fight. Yeah, but ELP managed to kind of fight his way out of it. But then Great-O-Khan decided to do a super claw slam for the wins.
I have to admit, and I'll give Great-O-Khan credit, right? I don't think Great-O-Khan's performance in this match was as good as the match with Takeshita, But
No.
I'm a big ELP fan. Obviously, I'm sorry yourself. Like we said this not like the last time we spoke with ELP. He's a brilliant wrestler.
Yeah.
But if you're being truly honest, Great O'Khan out wrestled ELP. He completely out wrestled him. And fair play to Great O'Khan. Like it's almost as if the loss to Takeshita, even though he had a poor match last time, despite winning with the Great O'Khan slam, well, the claw slam.
Yeah.
He hasn't really took on the performance. He just took the win against Shota. Whereas this time he really took the performance and he got the result and he deserved the win against El Fantasma. He really deserved the win.
Yeah. It was good to see from him. It's again, I feel like with Great O'Khan, he's like a styles make fights kind of wrestler. Mm-hmm. Like when he's paired with the right opponent, that's when he can show all of the different styles that he can display in a match.
I agree. And Catherine, honestly, that's a fair comment.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would disagree with you on that one, that looks like he lost a step. The problem is, and this is where my biggest concern with ELP is, he's lost a step, but he's not done anything to change it to make it look less obvious. I feel like it's so easy to see. You can look at it and go, yeah, he was definitely not well.
Yeah.
Why has he not done anything to fix it? And I'm not going to blame him in that way. That's heartless.
Yeah.
But you would think by now, surely he would think of something.
Yeah, and I would say that when he came back as quickly as he did, I myself was kind of questioning it. I thought that it was like weirdly quickly for him to be coming back after having cancer.
Yeah, it was way too soon. I'm like, mate, I know he's got the love of the game and he loves pro wrestling.
Like he was gone for like 2 months and then he came back.
He made a huge mistake. He should have taken. He should have done, funnily enough, a Roman Reigns with his leukemia. Yeah. He should have taken close to a year off.
I do understand why. I do understand why he came back, because he didn't want to miss Wrestle Kingdom, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
But at the same time, you've also got to consider your health going forwards and how it might affect your performances, because obviously it's always going to have an effect if you're not at your full capacity. It's not.
Yeah, I think he should have. I know he loves Wrestle Kingdom, but he could have been there just watching from the crowd. But he could have been back for Dominion at full health. But
yeah,
I suppose it's the love of the game. You can't take that away from him.
But then I guess it kind of makes sense, because they did have to get the TV title off Cobb before he became an NPC.
True, and you're not going to give the title to Great O'Khan, who's a faction member.
Oh, wait, they did that.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, they're not going to give it to like the most obvious.
Yeah, they're not going to do everything.
Yeah. You've never heard of ELP? Yeah. Wow, it's El Fantasma. What's up, Roy Sheen? Good to see you. She says, "Good evening to me." Yeah. Hell yeah, good to see you, Roy Sheen. Hope you're able to be around for quite a while tonight. I know obviously it's been difficult for you recently, but it's good to see you back in the chat. For everybody, of course, like if you are struggling, of course, throughout, never fail to speak to someone. Never fail to reach out, because someone around is always listening. That's
absolutely
truly important. Truly important. Someone is always listening. Even here, always listening.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of so that was just weirdly enough, that wasn't the back to normal match for me. I thought Great O'Khan versus El Fantasma was good. Back to normal was the next match. Yeah.
Which was Drilla Maloney and Ren Narita.
Absolutely.
What more do we have to say that hasn't been said already about Narita's matches?
I am honestly getting sick and tired of it. And it's annoying, because Ren Narita, before he betrayed Shibata and all that, before he betrayed them and joined HOT, Ren Narita was doing well. He was already in title matches, and he's joined House of Torture, and he's actually taken himself away from the title picture. If you actually look at it, since he's joined House of Torture, name one title match he's had since, or a title opportunity. I can't.
Well, I can name a couple.
They were very early on,
because obviously he won the TV title earlier this year.
which was a good one, to be fair.
And then he had the title match with and then he had Moxley's first title defense.
Yeah, I mean that is true. I hope so as well. I can see it as well.
But then apart from that, he's just been stuck in the 6-man division.
Yeah, he has. It's annoying. I agree with Catherine, to be fair. Like, so she's asking, could you see Dylan Maloney? I do. I think Dylan Maloney has the look and the strength to do it. I think he's got the mindset to be champion as well.
I could see it happening, but again, that kind of depends on the dynamic of the War Dogs and how that all plays out.
Yeah, I think the smart money is, depending on what happens between Gabe Kidd and David Finlay and their dynamic, we could see Dylan Maloney becoming the global champion.
Yeah.
And that would be cool. I think so, Nick. Yeah, who's the next TNA champion? Santana. I mean, I would like it to be, but I also like saviors. Like I would like some purity in that division, and I'll explain later.
I mean, I would just like anyone that isn't the person that has it right now. To be honest,
exactly. Match
like
free.
Even if you were gonna give it to another NXT person, like Ethan Page for example, that would be better than Trick Williams.
Oh, massively, because Trick Williams sucks.
Yeah.
In the nicest, purest form. Exactly.
But yeah, I guess we are gonna have to talk about this match. So it starts with Kanemaru attacking Maloney during his entrance, and then bashing him in the head with a chair, which leaves him bloody in the crowd.
Yeah.
Then Narita takes control of the match and whips Maloney into an exposed turnbuckle, which is a House of Torture staple at this point.
Absolutely.
And then then Narita charges at Maloney, who gets out of the way, and then it's Narita that goes into the exposed buckle, and then he comes out and instantly takes a spine buster from Maloney and then an enziguri after a 2 counter. Yeah. And then Narita pulls the ref, and then Kanemaru hits Driller with a chair again, which kind of busts him open again after the blood started to dry up. And then following that, they have a scuffle on the outside, which is, again, when it's House of Torture, they're all just there menacingly. They're doing their best to just ruin the flow of the match. They get back in a ring. Narita hits a German suplex for 2, and then immediately puts Maloney in a choke. Yeah. Now this is the sort of wrestling that I want to see from Ren Narita. I don't like all of the hijinks and bullshit of the House of Torture getting involved when he shows in his matches that he can just wrestle purely.
Oh yeah. The crazy thing is, if you were to have a cross-promotion match and it was Ring of Honor, for example, in the pure wrestling, Ren Narita would be top of my list. Because, like, say if it was Lee Moriarty had an open challenge, I would honestly go Ren Narita in a heartbeat. That is pure wrestling at its finest for me.
Yeah. 100%. But yeah, we had. I don't think they're gonna break up. I feel like it will get to a point where they're forced to disband.
I think it'll get so much for Evil, and Evil realizes actually I only need 2 or 3 people close to me, and that's it. Like similar to like every time like there's been a break in the Bullet Club, there's always like 1 or 2 niche members who stick with the leader because they're so valuable. Even if they're not the best of the faction, they're still valuable in most reasons. So I do actually think, yeah, exactly. Therefore, I think you'll get something like that from House of Torture. I think Ren Narita is one of them. I'm hoping. I hope Sanada isn't. I really hope Sanada's not one of them. Yoshinobu Kanemaru, I think, is one of them. And I hope for the sake, I hope he regrets the decision and he gets out of there. I hope Dookie leaves House of Torture. That for me that's the worst thing.
Yeah. No, I get the surprise reveal to get the belts off of the Hontai team, but apart from that, it didn't really make any sense.
Yeah, Catherine was saying or House of Torture versus LFI at Forbidden Door, but she asked House of Torture versus the Ops. I don't think House of Torture will be at Forbidden Door.
No,
I think if you're only going to get one person, I think it's Evil.
Not Kanemaru.
I don't think so. Well, maybe not, but it depends on what the role is. If it's in a tag match, then sure.
And if Evil was to go, and if Evil was to be there, what would he be there for?
I think you could have him in a title opportunity. Like I could see him in a title situation, you know.
Well, against Hangman.
Yeah. If it's not David Finlay, I would put Evil in the match. If Evil actually beat Hangman, it would actually show if the partnership actually means much. Because we've yet to see that. Think about it. When was the last time a New Japan talent actually won an AEW title?
It's never happened. I don't think it's
exactly. So I actually want to see something spark. I don't think he's necessarily going to win the AEW title, but I think it would really show something. Like even if it was like the TNT title, like a temporary switch on Kyle Fletcher, but he gets the title back. I think that'd be cool.
I'd say so.
I would root for Evil then. Catherine, she's like, I would root for Evil. Will the Bullet Club ever split? I don't think so.
The Bullet Club split multiple times.
Yeah, they won't fully split them.
No, there's always going to be someone there in charge of the Bullet Club, but they will have breaks.
I have a feeling, and tell me what you think, and then we'll get back to this. I think if what we said happens, and we prophesized from various people and ourselves, we prophesized that Gedo may steal control of the War Dogs from Finlay.
Yeah.
What if Gedo does to Bullet Club what he did to Chaos? What if he just completely dismantles the faction? Because he basically did from the inside of when he turned on Okada with Will Ospreay. He completely dismantled Chaos. That was it.
Yeah. I mean, I can't see that happening though, because Bullet Club is such it's more than just a brand. It's more than just a faction. It's more like a brand for the wider world of wrestling.
No, of course.
That's the only thing that I can see stopping that from happening. Because otherwise it is a good plot twist.
Yeah,
and it is definitely something that you could see Gedo doing in it.
Yeah, there's another thing as well is the thing that's got me intrigued is if Gedo does steal control of Bullet Club, is who does he actually recruit? Because he would definitely have a clear out.
Definitely.
That's actually,
I wouldn't even say a clear out. I just reckon that he'd just get rid of Finlay and keep everyone else out.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I definitely think he would make Drilla Maloney one of his main sergeants. You can just tell because Drilla Maloney has really come into his own this year.
I reckon that he would keep Drilla, Gabe, and Clark as his main three, but then he would have the Ishimoris, the Robbie X's, and whoever else he recruits just as affiliates, if that makes sense.
Imagine Robbie X and Bullet Club.
He's in Bullet Club.
Under Gedo's management. Gedo's full man. Yeah. I think it would be really exciting.
I could see weirdly him getting Bolton Oleg into Bullet Club.
That would really be cool. You know, because I know we said last week, and we don't want it to happen because we like him as an unaffiliate. But it would be really interesting if Yota Tsuji was in Bullet Club.
I mean, that would be very interesting, especially with the dynamic between him and Gabe as well.
Yeah, because then Gabe would be forced to go, It'd be like Gabe Kidd trying to dismantle Takeshita. He would have to really knuckle under to deal with
Yeah.
Suji. It would be really funny, but it'd be good at the same time.
And then you've also got to consider Jake Lee when he comes back. Where does he fit into everything?
Exactly. And I think if you look at it, he is going to soar. You know what? Actually, we're about to hit, because obviously we're in August now. We're about to hit a very important moment. I can see one other surprise member joining Bullet Club.
Who is this?
I'm going to show you.
Oh.
Because I want to see exactly what you think. And it does tie into a lot of things. But I honestly think this guy would be a phenomenal member of Bullet Club.
I'm intrigued to see this now. Ooh. Yeah, I could see it.
I think if you, because we spoke about it last week, and I was very honest when we spoke about who's the bigger promotions and who's doing well right now, and I said New Japan is still the biggest promotion in Japan, but Pro Wrestling Noah for the past year or so are kicking their ass.
Yeah,
because they've got stars. If they lose Osawa, they're losing one of their biggest stars.
Yeah.
Imagine he just walks into the Bullet Club.
I could see that as well. The way that he's been treated, I could see Osawa just coming into New Japan just like a man on a mission for vengeance.
Absolutely, because when you think about it in the nicest way as well, like obviously this guy had an interesting year.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like him for some reason. I don't get it. I
think he's great.
Yeah, he may not be a conventional Japanese style wrestler, but he is dope. He's not he's not my favorite Japanese wrestler from that promotion. Obviously, it'll always be this man. He'll always be my favorite. Kaito Kiyomiya will always be my favorite in this company. But like, I don't understand why people hate Jake Lee. But you put if Jake Lee is definitely going to come back over at some point when he does.
Yeah.
If he was to bring in Osawa. That would really shake up New Japan.
Yeah.
It would be like Naito returning from his American excursion. He's not sure what he's doing, and he walks straight into LFJ, and look what happens.
Yeah.
Like he made LIJ incredible.
Yeah.
And that's what Osawa could be. He could be the next level of incredible for Bullet Club.
Yeah. But the only thing I have with him is, would he fit like a War Dogs style of Bullet Club? Or would they have to completely revamp to accommodate him?
I think you would have to do a little bit of revamping, but not an awful lot. I don't think it needs to go like a crazy option. You know what I mean? But it's still a good thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, there was a question actually. Well, actually, it's not a question. It's more of a statement. Guy says TGP would be interesting. TJ Perkins is good, but I think he's fine where he is.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Bullet Club get oversaturated again.
Like at this point, I don't see the purpose in TJP switching factions at this point. If they were gonna do that, he should have turned on them before his contract expired. But the fact that he didn't do that, you might as well just keep him as a part of United Empire now.
Exactly, and he fits in well with United Empire anyway.
Yeah. And especially now that Ospreay and now Jeff Cobb have gone, they do need a veteran to kind of be there.
I don't know if he's still wrestling.
No, he is still wrestling.
No, it was because I had a quick drink. I don't know if he's still wrestling, but you know who actually I wouldn't mind in United Empire? I wouldn't mind Matt Sydal.
I'm pretty sure he's still wrestling, but I just don't know when.
I'm going to see if he is. Let's have a look and see if he's still wrestling. Because I haven't seen any matches from him recently, so I don't know. If he is still wrestling, I would have him in that faction. I think he works really well. Wait, he's signed to AEW. Doing what?
Yeah. I think last time I saw he was like a trainer or a coach or something like that.
Oh, get him back in a wrestling ring. Jesus Christ.
Definitely.
I know he was. I was gonna say he was on. Ring of Honor 2022, and then 2023, but he hasn't done anything else.
And he's still definitely got a lot to offer as well. Still.
Yeah, 2 years ago, Catherine. It's still 2 years.
But yeah, to get there, yeah, to get back to this match, Narita had Maloney in a chokehold, and
He did.
They did the whole, can the wrestler get to the ropes before he passes out spot? And well, he got to the ropes. And Kanemaru distracts the ref, and Narita hits him with a low blow and a double crossing. Yep. And he goes for Hell's Guillotine, but he gets caught into a powerbomb.
He does.
And then while the ref's because there was a ref bump in between, while the ref's like recovering from whatever's happened, Maloney hits a low blow on Narita, which I thought was hilarious. Because you've got to remember, even though they are like kind of faces or tweeners, it is still Bullet Club, so they can cheat too. So
exactly.
And then that led to a Gore and a Driller Killer for the win. And what's important to note here is that because of all the tiebreakers, Driller Maloney is the top of B block.
Yep, he is effectively through now. Like he is. He was one of the people that we thought were going to go through.
Yeah,
we're proud that Driller Maloney's going through. It's his first G1, and I'm glad he's made it. I'm glad he has, because he's had some excellent performances. He's not had a single. And
it's almost like now to the point where every time I see Maloney in this G1, it's almost convincing me more that he would probably have gotten through whether Gabe was injured or not, because his performances are incredible.
Don't worry, me folks. I'm on my max pain gimmick. I'm heavy on pain meds today. TJP should be. He has won singles championships though.
Yeah, just not in New Japan.
I think he's more suited for. He can be the veteran, but he's fine with competing for the tag teams because he's helping the younger talents thrive in the tag teams. He's setting them up for singles talents.
Yeah. Oh, no, we're just waiting for them to actually pull the trigger on Akira now.
Oh, they need to. They're already pulling the trigger.
They should have done it. They should have done it already.
Yeah, because they're already pulled the trigger on Yosei Fujita. So why are they not pulling it on Akira? Makes no sense to me. But the match itself, good win for Driller Maloney. The Driller Killer is one of my favorite finishes. I like the dynamic that Driller has in between matches. Awesome, Roy Sheen. I don't think Driller Maloney has bad matches. Even in this House of Torture style match, he isn't a problem. He thrives, but he needs to stay away from these bastards because it will hurt him more.
But yeah, the next match we have is Shingo Takagi and Shota Umino.
Yeah.
And I don't really know what to think of this match, because the match itself was a fine match for what it was. Definitely better than their Dominion match for me.
Yeah, I agree.
That match is horrendous. But again, it still feels like this match was quite repetitive to me.
Yeah, if you look at each spot, it was basically a carbon copy.
Yeah. And especially when we get towards the end of the match, it just felt like the same. It just felt like the same sequence that kept getting countered.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I felt like I don't know about you, but I felt like, from my viewing pleasure as a wrestling fan, especially when it comes to tournament style wrestling matches, I was genuinely disappointed. I felt cheated out of a good style performance, but that's just my mannerisms. Yeah, TGP is guy. I get your point. Like TGP is great, but the match of Alexander was a long time ago. That doesn't make a difference. You can have a great match with Josh Alexander. Doesn't mean you should be a champion. Like that doesn't make a difference to me. He doesn't need to.
Pretty much anyone can have a great match with Josh Alexander,
except Bully Ray. But that's because he's a fat tub of crap. But quite frankly, he doesn't need to be a champion. And pretty much Bleach they were. So you had Wednesday morning for us, you had G1, then you had Dynamite at night. The Thursday morning, which is today, you had last night, you had more wrestling there. Plus Collision, TNA, and Ring of Honor.
And TNA.
And then today you had G1.
Yeah. But yeah, this match was very like an open back and forth to start off. We had Shingo Takagi with the advantage initially, and then they go to the outside and Shota takes control and starts working on.
Yeah, hold on. Let me drop him just for a minute. There we go.
Shingo goes and takes control when they get back into the ring.
Yep.
And he hits a dragon screw in the corner, and then he does some corner strikes. Standard. And then Shingo catches. And then Shingo kind of catches. No, Shota kind of catches Shingo hobbling a little bit, and then hits a dragon screw of his own, and then puts him in an STF.
A much better dragon screw than what Shingo delivered, to be honest.
Yeah. And then following that, Shingo recovered, but took a half Nelson pretty much straight away.
Yeah.
And that led to a 2 count. And then as they both got up, they had that double lariat spot that they do. Mm-hmm. And then Shingo hit a DDT and a Made in Japan. But then again, on the landing, he kind of favors his knee a little bit, which Shota notices again, and then hits him with a Busaiku knee and a lariat, but then misses the first of about 3 second chapters that he tries. And then I'm going to touch on this when we get to the end of the match, because I feel like there needs to be a change in that finisher already then. Yeah. So the first second chapter attempt leads to a brainbuster. Then they have like a few headbutts, and then Shota gets the best of that, and he goes for the second chapter again, and then he gets countered with a pumping bomber.
Yep.
For a 2. Then they have this. I don't know what the move is called, but it's where Shingo has his opponent up on his shoulders in like a burning hammer position, but it's not quite a burning hammer. But I don't know what the move's called.
The positioning wise, anyway, he's got them up going up into. It's like a reverse Death Valley driver in a way that he goes for, but it's more or less like that, but it's more like an impaler position. So it's a mixture of both, which is weird.
Yeah, but whatever that was, Shota manages to wriggle out of that. He goes for a second chapter again, which then gets countered into Last of the Dragon, and then Shingo hits a burning dragon and he wins the match. Yeah,
it was honestly, like we say, sequence-wise, it really is a letdown.
Yeah.
But it is better than the Dominion match, but again, not hard, because that match was truly dreadful. But the mannerisms in this match was slightly more in tune. I did think that the overuse of the second chapter is a positive. I've said it before. If a match becomes a finisher fest, I have a problem. But if it's a constant attempt to hit your finisher and it's countered for the better of the match, I will praise it. This is my point where I like that. But
it felt excessive
in a way,
to me.
Yeah. But also, I felt like every time Shingo countered, he was too obsessed with going for big moves rather than effective moves.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like he was going for more flash than the victory. Me personally, if I'm countering the second chapter, I want to hit something that's not flashy. I want something that's going to make it look like I've killed him.
Yeah,
Don't know if
I
you
was
heard
saying
me there. Yeah.
I did. I was saying for me with the second chapter, I get like the kind of struggle that Shota has with trying to pull the move off, but there are some times in his matches where I think I see him and I just think just hit the Death Rider.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
just
what
because you're trying to change it doesn't mean that you can't still use the move.
Exactly, and it would have done him a lot of effort and favor as
Because
well.
no matter how much you try to change, yeah. Because it's like no matter how much you try to change, you're always going to be linked to Moxley, so you might as well just embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was so. Those last two matches, those were the slugs, shall we say, of this card.
Oh yes.
Because then we get to Zack Sabre Jr. and Konosuke Takeshita.
Wow.
And this match, again, had a weird effect on me because I actually really enjoyed the match, but I felt like I was too immersed in the match to kind of enjoy the wrestling, if that makes sense.
No, I get exactly what you mean. Yeah.
I couldn't get into the match because it had fully gripped me and pulled me in as if I was in the crowd.
Yeah. It felt really special in that way. Like it felt like you were fully in the experience, and it was so enjoyable.
Yeah. And it was just like it was the perfect mix of chain wrestling, technical wrestling, and just power.
Yeah.
Because at the start, you surprisingly actually had Takeshita out wrestling Zack Sabre Jr.
It felt like I was watching Okada versus Ibushi at Wrestle Kingdom a couple of years ago. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Truly and phenomenal. Best match of the G1 so far for me.
Yeah. And I don't think it's particularly close either, I don't.
No, I don't either. I think it's miles apart. It's going to be hard to top it, but it's possible, but it's going to be very hard. Yeah.
There's one possible match that I can see topping that, and that would be Takeshita versus Tsuji.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Like that match is gonna sting. If we get that match,
that would probably have to be a final for that to occur. I think with the way the standings are looking with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a load of grappling and chain wrestling at the start. Takeshita had the upper hand on it, and then he just decides that he was going to blast Zack Sabre Jr. with a punch and just completely deck him. And then there was a suplex and a head scissors, which made Zack Sabre Jr. actually get a rope break, which is very rare from him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at this moment, because it happened so quickly, that was where I realized that this was going to be like a barnstormer of a match.
Mm-hmm.
Because if within the first 2 minutes or so you have Zack Sabre Jr. going for rope breaks, which is something that never happens, it just shows you that there's going to be something special happening here, though.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
But yeah, they go to the outside and they do the usual stuff that they do on the outside.
They do indeed.
But it's mainly Takeshita whipping Zack into the barrier, really playing up the whole Zack Sabre Jr. and his ribs. How can they hold up? Which they do for pretty much every big match that he has because he's got bad ribs. And then Takeshita rolls Zack Sabre Jr. into the ring. He goes on to the top rope, and because it's his home city, he plays up to the crowd. But this costs him as Zack Sabre Jr. gets the time to recover to get this drop kick. And this drop kick was a very scary one for me because Takeshita kind of landed kind of funny on his knee on the rope, which, as you know, G1 Climax, you kind of worry that there's going to be some kind of injury there. But luckily there wasn't. And instead, Zack works the arm and he kind of puts Takeshita, and then he kind of puts Takeshita in this, like, it's like an armbar that he's got while Takeshita's draped on the ropes. And then after that, Takeshita kind of counters with a brain buster on the outside, and then he hits a German suplex. Then they go back into the ring, and then Zack puts him in another armbar, and then as Takeshita's fighting out of it, he gets him in a prone position, and then does his neck snap that he does, which is always sickening for me to watch. I don't know how or why wrestlers agreed to let them do that to their necks, but I guess they're all mad.
Well, they are psychos.
Yeah. But then there's an uppercut combination from Zack, which gets countered into a backdrop from Takeshita, which Zack Sabre Jr. then hits a roundhouse kick.
Oh, there was a lethal, right? It was a lethal kick, that.
Yeah. And then Zack goes for his Cobra Twist submission, and then Takeshita counters that into his kind of weird looking tombstone thing into that wheelbarrow German, and that gets a 2. Zack Sabre Jr. then catches his follow-up power drive knee, and then gets a close 2 from that after he gets him into a clutch pin. Zack Sabre Jr. then counters a Raging Fire attempt with a Zack driver for a 2 count. And then I put in my notes at this point, the crowd goes completely wild.
Oh yeah, they were after heat at this point.
Then there's another maybe 3-minute back and forth where they're just trading strikes and elbows and uppercuts and all that sort of stuff. And then Takeshita just breaks the chain with a straight murder. And then he goes for a Raging Fire again, which gets countered. And then Zack Sabre Jr. counters this with this choke. I think it's the crossface chicken wing, which Takeshita's been using in his matches.
I love the crossface chicken wing.
And then Takeshita, initially, he gets up and kind of drags Zack Sabre Jr. to the ropes. He does this kind of senton thing, but Zack refuses to release the hold, basically. And then it leads to Takeshita eventually tapping out, which, again, is something you don't see.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought Takeshita was going to beat Zack.
I thought he was going to win, yeah.
But I was very surprised. It was an excellent match, start to finish. It's got good pacing all the way through. It's not a traditional Zack match where it's got more technical holds than anything else.
Yeah. It was a match that actually forced Zack Sabre Jr. to get a bit stuck in here.
And that's what he needs to do a lot more. And
yeah,
that's what I like.
Especially if he's doing this whole horrible bastard character that's holding the title hostage.
Exactly. He needs to have a blend here. And it was excellent regardless, start to finish. This was by far still the best match of the tournament. It's going to be hard to top it, but like you say, there is potentially one match that can top it, but we'll certainly find out if it can.
Yeah, we shall. So with all of that being said, what were your overall thoughts on night 8 of the G1?
Overall thoughts, night 8 wasn't a bad night. it certainly still proves that we need to free up talent from the House of Torture. For me personally, that they need to stop having the House of Torture around ringside.
Yeah.
Referees need to do something about it, or New Japan themselves just need to step in and just say, like, no, this cannot continue. It's making
Just start ejecting them immediately.
it's making it hard to enjoy in that way. But in general, there was a lot of good wrestling. We had an amazing main event, and the opening match was a good way to start for the tournament rounds. And
yeah,
more of that, please.
Yes, and more of that. I would say we got today for night 9.
We did.
So the matches for today's show were Sonar Truth, as we like to call him now.
Yep, that is his new name. That is his new name, Sonar Truth. Love it.
We then followed that up with Evil and Ryohei Oiwa.
Yep.
Then we had David Pinley versus Bolton Oleg.
Yep.
Then we had an amazing for me the match of this show, which was Taichi versus Yota Tsuji, which again should have main evented, and I don't know why it didn't.
Yep, that's something that we.
And then in the main event, we had Yuya Uemura and Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Dominion rematch.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Exactly. So to start off the night, we had Sonar Truth versus Callum Newman, which for me was actually a good match for the fact that we didn't have any House of Torture infestation, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
Again, as you would expect from the Sonada match, it was a typical ambush as soon as the bell rings.
Not even before the bell rings, because he done the suicide dive as well before the match even started.
Yeah.
Which was really good.
Callum Newman basically stopped it immediately, and then, as you said, hit the dive to the outside, where Sonada quickly regained the control of the match and started doing all of the hijinks with Milano and the barricades and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then Callum Newman kind of gets back into it, and then as you would love, goes for the double stomp and misses.
Yep, he does make a fatal mistake though at one point, because he does get stuck in the ropes, and that really scared me. When you look at it, it looks like he really hurt his mouth. And that's an odd thing when you get stuck in the ropes. The first thing you would think of is, oh, he's hurt his mouth. But he really gets stuck badly between them. It's not a fun sight at all.
Yeah.
The double stomp, he misses. Yeah. He does get the mafia kick, which is good, and then obviously Sinatruth gets his drop kicks and all that. But I did like that, and the crowd really got into it as well when the springboard elbow was hitting the ref, of all people, the referee.
Yeah. And then obviously there's no ref to count the pin after Callum gets Sonada in a clutch pin. And then following that, Sonada hits a Shining Wizard to the back of the head. Surprisingly, which is certainly something which we haven't seen him do for a while.
Yeah.
And then he goes for a moonsault as he does. And then Callum kind of rolls out of the way, but Sonada lands on his feet. But obviously Sonada's kind of stunned from not hitting the move. So Callum Newman goes for a Prince's Curse, and Sonada flips out of it. And then they have a bit of it was dreadful. Then Sonada tries a skull end, doesn't really lead to anything, and then Callum hits him with actually hits him with the Prince's Curse to win the match.
He does, and it was really good. It was an overall exciting match between the two of them. None of the usual House of Torture interference, but we obviously get the usual House of Torture start the match by bullying the opponent. But
we're going to talk about the House of Torture interference in the next match, will you?
Oh yes, we are. Another thing as well that I actually quite liked before the matches started, I liked how well Drilla Maloney was on commentary as well. Drilla Maloney, I said it last week, is whenever he gives up on wrestling, he would be an excellent commentator.
Yeah.
Really well done, but yeah.
Drilla's hatred for Sonada in this match was really hilarious to listen to.
Oh, it was pure gold. And that set the tone, because you go from one first time ever match to another, and this one is just
shit,
Jesus.
For a lack of a better word.
This is a Railway Oiwa. You need to call the Yakuza or something like that and get Evil dealt with, because you got robbed.
Yeah, definitely.
Oiwa got robbed massively in this match. This was a joke.
Yeah. It starts off well enough, as most Evil matches do, before all the bullshit happens. And Oiwa is actually frustrating Evil a lot with his arm drags and his quick pace. And whilst this is all going on, Evil has the ref distracted. Dick Togo exposes the turnbuckle, and Evil shoves Oiwa into the buckle as usual. That's pretty much the start of the bullshit for this match. And he takes control after that. Oiwa kind of it's not like he's rallying, but then there's another distraction, and I think it's Farley hits him with a chair and then kind of drags him out of the ring and then hits him with a body slam on the outside. And then he throws him back into the ring. Evil tries to pin him, and the ref does a slow count, because I guess he's kind of clocked onto what's going on. And then finally Oiwa kind of wrestles him to the ground, and he tries to pin Evil, and then the ref counts quickly, and then Evil does this thing where he's kind of squaring up to the referee waist. And then whilst all of that's going on, Dick Togo, he's got onto the ring apron to kind of distract Oiwa, and Oiwa's just punched him in the face. And then as you mentioned in the whole Narita Maloney match about how you're tired of House of Torture getting involved and that something should be done about this, Hartley Jackson shows up and just drags them both away. And at this point, I'm thinking, if he's just come out and dragged two of the House of Torture members away, why don't any other faction members think of doing this?
I don't know why nobody considers it, but they need to, because when you look at it in the right sense, we need to see some mannerisms be dealt with. But
it's funny because it's not even like Hartley was with Oil when he came out. He literally just randomly appeared.
He does, yeah. Weirdest thing as well is we get a reverse Yokozuna, because we get the powder in the eyes of Oiwa, and then Oiwa taps out to the Dark Scorpion.
Yeah.
Which is mental.
Yeah.
Creative finish, though. I'll give them that. That is a creative finish.
Yeah.
But
why?
Yeah.
Of all people to feed that finish to, why Oiwa?
Yeah, that felt like a burial.
Yeah. That kind of finish would have been better served for Tanahashi, would have been.
Massively. Because you can't bury him. But that felt like they were burying Oiwa. And it's disappointing, really. But I'll tell you one thing, though. Fair play to Oiwa for one thing. That German suplex straight into the Chaos Fury. That was a really good sequence of German suplex.
Yeah. And it also felt like his pacing in this match was a lot better than usual as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because it was a House of Torture match, and House of Torture matches are pretty standard in terms of the pace of the match. But I felt like he managed everything well. But everything that he was supposed to do, like all of his spots were timed well. And it didn't really feel like he was in much of a rush either.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But yeah. We'll see. We'll see how Evil's next match in the G1 goes with Finlay. I'm sure that will go completely well with no interference whatsoever. Speaking of Finlay, he had a match with Boltin Oleg, and
He did.
And it was an odd match.
Yeah.
What? Because it kind of makes sense in terms of the trajectory of the G1 and how that's going, but it also doesn't make sense in terms of his character, because they had him wrestling as like a coward in this match or an underdog.
Yeah.
Because at the start he was literally running away from Oleg, trying to get away from him. And then obviously it turns into him being, oh, ha, I'm smart. And then he rams him into the barricade again, which we need to stop the guardrail abuse at this point.
Yes, we do. 1 massive %. Yeah, we do. We have to stop
it. And then after that, he spears Oleg through the entrance gate and into the crowds.
Love that, to be honest. I love that.
Yeah. But then despite this, and this is where the match kind of turns, Boltin Oleg from this point basically dominates the match and just no-sells all of Finlay's pins. And then he hits him with a massive lariat, which you would expect from Finlay, and then hits him with that big splash and then the Boltin shake that he does. Which every time I see him do that, no matter who it's to, his strength never fails to amaze me.
Yeah, 100%. I'll say this, though, this is what I liked about it. Oleg, we've consistently praised for, he allows other talents to just take the lead, and then he can then find ways to lead himself as a young talent. He's finding his flow. But in this match, Boltin Oleg doesn't lead a single thing. He doesn't call a spot. He doesn't make any calls. Love that. He knows his place. Yeah. He is letting Finlay call the match.
And I guess it also helps that Finlay, he's like pretty much a ring general at this point in his career, which is weird to say considering how young he is. But because of how much experience he has in the business for his family, it's pretty easy for him to lead matches and dictate things.
And also, not only that, but he has good ideas for how a match can change up on the fly. Like he has a unique way of calling spots. That's what I like about David Finlay. That's what cops on for me. But Boltin has a unique way of just responding. Yeah. What's up, Fernando? Good to see you.
Which is why I feel like their matches go very well then.
Yeah, I thought I like how Boltin reacted to the German suplex being kicked out as well, because he goes for an F5. I was like, the fuck. And then he goes for the kamikaze.
Yeah.
Obviously, Finlay, a roll-up of all ways to win. But you know what? I will say, this is a good use of the roll-up. Yeah. It's a good use on the roll-up. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's been shit out of luck all tournament. He's not been able to get wins with the overkill or anything like that.
Or the oblivion.
So it's pretty much just been like a win at all costs kind of tactic for him.
And that is what we said. Yeah, that's what we said was going to happen. We think, is he out or is he going to have to get desperate? And he got desperate, but he made it look so bloody good.
Yeah.
And fair play to him as well. Like, that was an excellent performance by both men. It's not match of the night for me because the match that follows it was, but this was the second best match on this show by a mile.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have enough good things to say about this match.
I would love, because I love David Finlay as a never overweight champion. I don't say he needs to win it back, but we need to get this match for the title win. Yeah, this needs to be a 20-minute title match. It needs to be 20 minutes, because it's the fact that they got only just under 11 minutes, and I'm like, that's not good enough for these two. They should have got longer.
Yeah. And I do feel like there was still so much more that they could have done.
I agree. I actually think the way, considering that he won by countering the kamikaze, I think if they do a match again, I think Bolton Oleg
They're
should
gonna
either
do that. They'll do that same spot again. They'll do that same spot again, but this time he'll kick out though.
He'll kick out, and then I think he'll go for the Oblivion or the Overkill, and then he'll counter that for a roll up, and then we'll have like one to one on roll ups, and I'd be like, that was the coolest story.
Yeah, but the thing that really got me in this match was the way Finlay celebrated after he got the roll up win.
That was so shithousery.
Yeah.
I love that. I need
it's
more
like
of
he's
that.
celebrating. It's like he's celebrating like he just won a world title. Like,
shit, he's a proper jammy bastard. That's what I like about him.
Yeah,
like, that's what matters the most. Like, you gotta go crazy to do it. What's up, Abdul? And to answer your question, Guy, yes, Yuya Umura has improved a lot. He has improved a lot since his TNA excursion, but he's developed a character in TNA. Unlike when he was he developed a character more in New Japan when he returned than he did in TNA, but he grew into the basis of learning how to tell a story match besides just a wrestling a match. It's good balance. Good balance from Yuya. Yuya's done well in this tournament.
Yeah.
And now
he's definitely
David
been
Finlay,
one of the standouts.
I agree. And now David Finlay is only 2 points behind Taichi and Bolton based on results. And he's now on the same points as Tanahashi and Sanatruth. And he's 2 points behind Newman.
It's important to say this, but all of these people that you're mentioning, bar Tanahashi, have tie breaks on him because they've all beaten him.
Exactly. That's the only thing.
Yeah. So even though you say he is still 2 points behind Taichi, realistically it's 4 points because of the tie breakers.
Yeah, he needs a medical to progress.
Yeah. And a miracle here is what he did not get with Taichi versus Yosuji.
Yeah, he needed Yota
he
to
needed
win this
Suji to win. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which didn't happen.
No.
As we will get into, it was a quick start from Suji. He did a lot of his lucha offense, which I'm a huge fan of.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good to see a man of his size being able to do all of these flips and dives like he's a cruiserweight. Like,
oh yeah, it's so well rounded. Like when you look at his stature and his power and his size,
he is a large man. He's.
I think who would.
I'm trying to think.
Like, in a way, he's like 90s Eddie Guerrero. He's not like 2000s Eddie. He's not like 2000s Eddie Guerrero, where he had to completely revamp his style after that horrible car accident he had. Instead, he's more the 90s one where he was the mixture of high flying and technical offense, but he was able to do both. Whereas the 2000s Eddie Guerrero had to be more on one side.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I thought it was absolutely incredible. And Yota Tsuji, honestly, if Drilla Maloney wasn't in this tournament, Yota Tsuji would be my standout. Yeah. He's being showed up by Drilla Maloney.
Yeah.
And right,
which again, obviously that's nothing to be ashamed of because Drilla is a fantastic wrestler in his own right.
Exactly. And
it's like, and every time I've seen Drilla in this tournament, I've been thinking, have we really been keeping this in the junior tag division when he could have been in the heavyweight division this whole time?
Yeah, you could have. It's like it's what we said. Like, we're annoyed about, like, we don't blame AEW for how bad things are with New Japan for not building stars, but he is a star right there.
Yeah.
Like, that is one you really kick into.
Yeah. And I feel like going off on a tangent, I feel like that's kind of the same for Clark Connors as well. At this point, I don't think he needs to be in the junior division anymore either.
Yeah, he's done all. He's done all that needs to be there.
Yeah. He's had multiple tag reigns. He's tried to beat Despy for the title and couldn't do it. I don't really feel like there's much more for him to do there.
Yeah, he needs to move on to higher things.
Yeah.
Taguchi.
Taguchi is basically Yano, but the junior version.
I've got mixed opinions on Taguchi. I think there's potential there and there's talent,
But then there's also arse, and a lot of it.
yeah. I'll just make sure I win then. I'll just invoke a channel rule that only applies to me.
But yeah, they again, like all of the matches before, they go into the crowd.
Yeah.
And one thing I will praise the main event for is they don't go into the crowd one.
Thank fuck as well.
Yeah, because I'm pretty tired of that. And it's important to note that in the first 5 minutes of this match, Taichi gets no offense in. Like, it's pretty much all Tsuji. And then the moment they get back into the ring, Taichi hits Tsuji with the Nax Bomber, and that's where he kind of gets back into the match. And then following this, he hits a Kamigiri in the corner. And Tsuji avoided a charge to kind of take control back immediately. He goes for the Marlowe stomp. And
he does, yeah.
He misses it.
He does. And I was so surprised.
Yeah. And then Taichi hits him with another Kamigiri, and they have a double down.
Yeah, they do.
And I have a gripe with these double down spots. I feel like they're way overdone in these matches.
Yeah, you can't actually progress the match by doing it.
Yeah.
Like you don't see progression.
Yeah, like I get them having one, like when the match is just about to pick up, and as they're getting towards the end of the match. But if they do it like 3-4 times a match, it loses its allure.
I agree.
Like you can't use it as a transition to the next spot. It needs to be like a big moment in a match for me.
Oh yeah, hands down. And that's where the match flow and the sequence doesn't help either, because you want to see what they're capable of instead of just doing a double down. A double down actually hurts a match flow and it derails the crowd.
Yeah. But then they got up. Taichi tried to hit Tsuji with a buzzsaw kick, and Tsuji caught it, and then he hit Taichi with a buzzsaw kick, and then he went to do the Gene Blast, and it got countered before Tsuji kind of retook control and hit a Liger Bomb on Taichi for a very close 2 count through. And then after this, again, this is what we were talking about earlier with the Shingo Shota match, with how the desperate attempts to hit finishes can add to the spectacle of the match. He goes for it again, and then he charges at Taichi. Taichi slips out and hits it, puts him in a ghetto clutch for maybe the second closest 2 count of the night, which we again talk about with the main event. But it was a very close fall. And then following that, the pair traded curb stomps, which for me, I'm a big fan of a move thief.
So am I. I like it when you use it to its fullest opinion, and it certainly gets the best way about it. But I like the fact that the way the match concludes as well is how ruthless he was with the Black Mephisto.
We will touch on that though, because before we get to that point, Taichi hits a dangerous backdrop on Tsuji for a 2.5.
Yeah.
And then Tsuji comes back and hits the short Gene Blast.
He does.
Again,
doesn't look good.
which again, I like that he doesn't go for the cover because obviously there's not enough momentum there. I like that
Exactly.
he went straight for the corner to do a couple more knee strikes. Then again, he goes for the Marlow crash, but then he gets caught with a big kick from Taichi in midair. Again, I like the urgency for the end of this match. It was immediately followed by another dangerous backdrop, and then the Black Mephisto, as you mentioned, the destruction of Yota Tsuji there for the win.
It was just done so well, and both men do not fail when it comes to exciting the crowd. It was really enjoyable, and the good thing about it is it made the main event have to top it or try, and they both are not unfairly failed.
Yeah, and again, it just goes to show. I say this. I think I've said this for pretty much every review of Taichi's matches, apart from obviously the Evil match, which was shit because it's evil. Every time I see Taichi, every time I've seen Taichi in this G1, it's made me wonder why he wasn't just put in the G1 in the first place.
Exactly.
Because Taichi is what, especially being one of the champions of the company, Taichi should never have to qualify to be in the G1. Like, he's perfectly made for this tournament.
Exactly. Like, if you're a champion, you should automatically be in.
Yeah. Which again, it's a shame that Ishii isn't in this tournament as well, and instead he's just pissing about in AEW doing nothing.
Yep. He's doing fuck all.
When instead of having, instead of having Great Okan in this tournament, we could have had Ishii in this tournament.
Yeah. Could have done.
Yeah. But yeah, any before we get onto the main event, any thoughts on the Taichi Tsuji match?
Just one. I think this result is going to prove one thing. I think this match proves that Yota Tsuji has found the one person he is never going to beat. Because it happened when he was a young lion as well. He failed to beat Taichi, and he's failed to beat him again. I think that's how it's going to be. It's like he's going to be like his main nemesis of, I can't beat this guy. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they have I think they have some sort of connection, and they should have that. They should have that where he shouldn't beat Taichi. Obviously, he has before, but he should never beat him again.
Yeah. And I feel, I feel like it's kind of like the Gabe Kidd and Tsuji thing where.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yes.
Where they've had matches, but Tsuji beat Gabe the first time, and again, like Taichi, he hasn't beaten Gabe since
and he shouldn't.
No,
like he shouldn't.
Well, not at least until they're both fighting for the world title, anyway.
All right, I'll let you off. I'll let you
until they're both off at that point. I feel like they need to keep the draws going because they're so evenly matched. I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. Because that will not hurt them at all. Like,
with this, yeah. If anything, it kind of builds the tension between them even more.
Yeah, I agree.
And if what we were, and that adds into what we were talking about earlier. If Tsuji ends up joining Bullet Club, that adds a completely different dimension to that.
Yeah, and I'm all for it if it happens. If it doesn't happen, then fair enough. Like, I'm not gonna rage about it because I like that he's doing affiliate stuff as well.
It's not something that needs to happen, but it would be nice if it did. But
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And speaking of nice things, we had the main event, which was Yuya Uemura and Hiroshi Tanahashi.
The rematch from Dominion is actually a good rematch. It's just it follows a very good preliminary main event that actually should have been the main event in the first place.
Yeah. And I feel like that's something that this G1 has suffered from. It's constantly been putting the wrong match as the main event.
Yeah, the only time they actually got it right, in my opinion, was the other night when they put Zack Sabre Jr. with Takeshita as the main event.
Yeah.
It's probably the only time they've actually got it right. Apart from, because they didn't even put Zack versus ELP as the main event when they wrestled, which was absolutely bizarre.
Yeah. But yeah, this match was... It pretty much started technical immediately, because the first thing that happened was they had Uemura started off with a hammerlock on Tanahashi, then Tanahashi did the same, and then hits him with a basement drop kick, and then Yuya kind of comes back with a crossbody but favors his knee, because, as you know, this is the tournament where everyone hurts their knees. And they're all carrying various knee injuries from this tournament, and obviously that's still going on here, which becomes a theme for Uemura, I would say, in this match.
Yeah, massively.
Tanahashi sees this and dragon screws him, and then works the knee. Yuya kind of he blocks the sling blade and does this arm snap for Tanahashi, which I need to see more of Tanahashi's opponents doing this.
Yeah, they need to start hurting him more in that way.
Stop giving him any invitation to do the sling blade.
It's about time, because I'm actually getting sick. I'm actually getting sick of it.
Yeah. And then he manages to hit the deadbot suplex, but because of his knee, he can't bridge, so he gets a 2.
Yeah.
And then he goes up top, and he goes for like a high crossbody. He lands it, but again jams his knee on the ring mat.
This is my Sana Truth to a whole new level look.
But yeah, he goes up for a high crossbody and he jams his knee on the ring apron. Well, not the ring apron, the canvas.
Yeah, stings like a bitch.
Which is the second time of, I think, about 5 times where this happens to him. To the point where commentary are playing up that they don't want to see him get injured like he did last year.
Yeah.
And then Tanahashi hits a straight jacket German, which gets a 2.
Love that move.
He then goes for a reverse sling blade, and then he follows that with a proper one. He then goes for it's not quite a roll up, but it's like he's gone for, like, I think it was the cloverleaf he was going for.
He went for the cloverleaf backbreaker, yeah.
And then Uemura, when I said that I'm trying to think, what match was it? When I said that the Finley lariat, not the Finley lariat, the Bolton lariat on Finley had the second closest to. This was the closest to that I've seen in a long time, where Uemura rolls up Tanahashi, and then Tanahashi kicks out just as the ref is about to hit 3.
Yeah. It's really well done.
Yep. Then Tanahashi hits another sling blade, goes for the high fly flow, misses, and then Uemura goes for it and connects for a 2. Connects for a 2 because he's jammed his knees into the canvas again. And at this point, and it was at this point in the match, I'm thinking to myself, do you not care about your knees at all? Do you?
I don't think he does anymore, and it's quite sad.
And I feel like he is. It's almost like Uemura is genuinely trying to be the next Tanahashi in every aspect.
I think it's. I agree. I do think it's Oiwa, though. I know I've said it a few times, but I do see why you're thinking about Yuya. Like, he has the crowd in the palm of his hand.
Yeah, and he also doesn't seem to care about his knees, just like Tanahashi doesn't. Then
I did Stardust to come back and answer because you asked it earlier on, but I don't have a Mount Rushmore for unsafe workers because that to me isn't a good idea. But New Jack would definitely be on it.
That's not something that you should be
celebrating,
applauding, and celebrating as a Mount Rushmore thing.
Because that's just acknowledging bad workers deserve to be recognized on the highest order, and absolutely not.
Yeah,
but that's no. I'll be honest. See, if you want to put someone on there, you're not going to like this. But if you want a Mount Rushmore of unsafe workers, Randy Orton's on there. You guys are not going to like that, but when you figure out why I'm saying it, you'll realize it. Randy Orton's on the unsafe workers list. Deuces.
Yeah. But yeah, they get up. Definitely him. He's definitely up there.
Yeah, that bloody Peaky Blinders lump of shite is definitely on there.
Yeah.
That's quite a list from Zodiac. He says New Jack, Jack Perry, Shane McMahon, and Vince McMahon.
I wouldn't say Jack Perry's on there.
I actually don't think Shane McMahon's on there either.
No.
I think he's a boring worker.
Well, Shane, like he did get a bit like much towards the end, but
yeah, but he's not overall.
That's age, and
yeah, he's actually considerably safe.
Yeah.
What's up, Maria? How are you?
Hello, Maria. But yeah,
I think
getting back to the match, we have the 2 count after the knee injuries. They both have quick pinfalls that get like kicked out of, and then Tanahashi hits a dragon suplex on Uemura for another close near fall. They then kind of have a bit of a grappling match before Uemura finally has the momentum to like clinch with Tanahashi and then get him in the deadbolt suplex to win the match.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
it was a good match.
It was a good match, but it had to follow Taichi and Tsujibe.
And it went on too long. This match, I don't mind a long match, but this match went nearly 19 minutes, and Tanahashi was done after about 12.
Yeah.
D'Lo Brown, I see why you're saying that.
I see why you're saying it, but also at the same time, it was just a regular powerbomb that he did. Like, it was a complete freak accident.
Yeah. And also,
so again, I can see why you're saying it, but I also think it's harsh.
That's an understatement.
Oh, he's a piece of shit. That's what he is.
I'll be honest. Okay then. We'll do this now. If I'm gonna rank my unsafe workers, Goldberg is on there.
Goldberg's on there.
I'll give mine, then you go for yours. So I'll go Goldberg. Goldberg. Because I'm going to include women as well. I'm going to like both sides of the.
I know exactly what women you're going to say.
Yeah, Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Goldberg, Nia Jax. He became a bad worker. He became a really bad worker. So I'm going to say Perry Saturn.
No, yeah.
And then lastly, I'm going to say Ridge Holland. Okay. Randy Orton is just outside the 4, but he is on that bridge bracket. He is a fucking horrific worker. Every time he landed that RKO, for example, there was times where he was actually driving them right into the mat, so he could literally break someone's neck.
Yeah.
Like, look at RVD, for example, is one of those.
I feel like with RVD, that was just the way he sold moves. That was.
He was crazy for it. RVD wasn't unsafe, but RVD did make one fatal mistake. He did put it too much in terms of the damage from his kicks, but that doesn't make him unsafe. I think it just makes him quite naive.
Yeah.
New Jack. See, the funny thing is, New Jack. People think New Jack is unsafe.
New Jack wasn't unsafe. He was just a mentalist.
Exactly. Ryback, I don't even consider him a wrestler, but he is up there for sure. I think there's people worse than him, but he is definitely unsafe. I'll bet your guy's not going to like this. He's probably going to get angry, but Alberto Del Rio wasn't safe.
Yeah, I was actually gonna have him on my list.
Yeah,
I would say Goldberg, obviously.
Yep.
Ridge Holland again, obviously.
Yep.
Del Rio. And then I feel like there's one that's kind of understated.
Try and guess, or
yeah.
Okay, let me start with some preliminary questions. 80s, 90s, or 2000s?
The 2000s.
Male or female?
Male.
Not WWE.
No, well, not for the majority of it. No, not.
Heavyweight.
Yeah.
Blonde.
Yes.
Hardcore Holly.
Yes.
Thoughts?
I don't think that it's understated enough just how unsafe of a worker he was.
Just look what he did to all those young guys.
Like back in his day, it was all lauded because of the whole backstage bullying and how that was all applauded. But it's just like it just wasn't necessary.
Jeff Hardy at times in TNA really was unsafe. I will not argue with that. There was times where he was unsafe, but he learned his lesson.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins can be Seth Rollins is very unsafe when it comes to his knees.
Himself. Yeah.
Yeah, like
but
that.
Seth Rollins is more of a menace to himself than anything else.
Yeah. Although to be fair, it's definitely not intentional. But the way that he broke Cena's nose, that was ridiculous.
Yeah,
that really was it. Low key's not unsafe.
Low key's one of the safest.
Yeah, Low key's not unsafe at all. Like if you look at him, he's literally one of the safest guys you can see for somebody who's under 200 pounds. He's really good.
Yeah,
JBL, he really picked his people. That's why I will always praise Stevie Richards for whacking that steel chair on his face. I'll say something else. He didn't hit him hard enough. I think he should have hit him harder. And Nick Gage, poor Jericho. What he did to Jericho was a joke. Sabu, no, that's true. Sabu at times was unsafe.
Yeah.
And it's because of his uncle. His uncle was very unsafe at times because it was the only way that he could stay rich.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to the scores of the A block now, we have, I think we've got 3 people on 8 points. We have Evil, Suji, and
Yuya
on 8 points. And because of the tie breaks and how Evil's beaten them both, Evil is the top of A block.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You then have Taichi, Oleg, Oiwa, and Callum Newman on 6 points. And then you have Tanahashi, Sanada, and Finlay on 4.
Yeah.
And because of Finley's win today, Sanada is now back to being the bottom of A blocks.
Yes, Sanatruf has been filled down.
Yeah.
Shame.
So if we were to look, if we're looking at the scores now, who would you say are the 3 to advance from A block?
I think it's the same top 3. I don't think the top 3 changes now, if I'm being honest.
So Evil, Suji, and Yuya.
I think so.
Okay.
I think it's going to be very tight, though. I think it really does depend. I think the next two matches, but I think Yota and Evil are definitely top two.
Yeah. And then for B block, we have Maloney, Narita, Okan, and Yoshihashi all on 8. And again, because of the tie breaks, Maloney is the top of this block. And then you have Takeshita, Zack Sabre Jr., and Shota Umino on 6 points.
Yep.
And I think they've all beaten each other, so I don't know how that tiebreak works.
I'm still going.
And then you have El Phantasmo and Shingo Takagi, who wrestle next, both on 4.
Yep. I'm still going with. I'm unsure who the third person is. I'm really trying to figure out, but 100% I'm going with Takeshita and Drilla. I think it might end up being. I think it might end up being Shingo, but I'll be very disappointed if somehow Drilla Maloney doesn't get.
That is interesting because Great Okan has 8 points and he's already beaten Shingo.
Yeah, it's going to come down to the last couple of matches for sure.
Yeah.
It's a mannerism. Yeah, I mean, that is true. Darby to himself is unsafe, but he also does it for the love of the game, so it's kind of a hard one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it is. It's tricky, but it's not it's certainly a more fun dynamic this tournament in terms of the brackets than last year. But the sad thing is these young talents who are doing really well aren't getting the crowds they deserve. New Japan need to think how to do that because they're not presented badly. It's just that it's just not working. It sucks.
Mm-hmm. It does. Yeah.
No worries, Roisin. Thank you so much. I will catch you on Monday. We will see you then. If you are available, even for like 5 minutes tomorrow after the show, if you're not available, you can drop your predictions for me. Or if you want, at the end of this video, just drop your comments and your predictions for SummerSlam, and I'll add them to the spreadsheet. I can do that tonight for you. And yeah, I saw Darby on Shark Week, and Darby's mental. Like Darby does not give a shit.
Yeah.
Like he's just funny.
Yeah, but the matches for the next shows that we're gonna look at. When are we gonna review nights 10 and 11?
It's up to you. I don't mind really.
Because I'm trying to think.
What works for you?
I'm trying to think. Should we kind of touch on that briefly before the SummerSlam review?
Yes, I'm alright with that. Yeah,
because I feel like that makes more sense because there's no G1 on Monday. I feel like it makes sense to do it then as well.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, 100%.
So the matches for that will be. It will be. Let's see, Shota Umino and Yoshihashi. So who do you reckon takes that?
Shota or Yoshihashi? I'm going for Yoshi to recover.
Okay, so that would then put him on 10 points.
Yeah, I think he's getting double digits.
And then we have Shingo versus El Phantasmo.
Shingo.
Okay, so that would then put him on 6.
Yeah.
We then have what I expect to be the match of the night, which is Drilla Maloney and Konosuke Takeshita.
I'm going to go for a shock. I'm going to say Drilla to win.
Okay. So that would then put him on 10 points as well and keep him as the top of B block.
Yep. And then Takeshita will win the following match.
Okay. And then the main event is Zack Sabre Jr. and Great Okan.
Zack will win by submission.
Okay. So that's night 10. And then night 11, we will have, if it will load, there we go. It will be Bolton, Oleg, and Callum Newman.
That one's actually quite hard to call. We haven't had a draw yet, which is crazy. Maybe we're not going to get a draw this whole tournament.
Maybe not.
I think Bolton will win. I think Bolton will get he'll get the response after losing to Finlay.
Okay, so that will put him on 8.
Yeah.
We then have Taichi versus Oiwat.
I think Oiwa's going to respond well, but I don't know if it'll be this match. I'm going to go Oiwa. He's had a good tournament.
Okay. So then that will put Oiwa on 8 and leave Taichi on 6.
Yeah.
We have a faction breakup match between Uemura and Sana Truth.
I'm going to go for Sana Truth to win.
I think so as well. And then it's not the main event, but I think it probably should be. We have David Finlay versus Evil.
I think Evil's going to maintain his dominance over David Finlay. To be honest, I think he will. I think he'll make him pass out to the Dark Scorpion again, outside interference.
Okay. And by the way, if Evil wins this match, he probably guarantees himself going through to the semi-finals.
Yep, and guarantees Finlay's elimination. I think. I don't want Finlay to lose, but I'm being logical.
I don't want him to lose, but I feel like he will.
Yeah.
And then the main event is Tanahashi versus Tsuji.
Tsuji's gonna rip him apart. There's no way I don't think Tanahashi gets 100th win until later, but I don't know when it's gonna happen, but it's not gonna be against Yota. He's not gonna get 100th win over a young lion unaffiliated wrestler. There's no way. No. And yes, Guy, I was gonna read your question. We're doing these predictions first. He asked, did TNA do better in the relationship with New Japan? I've said it before. Yes, but they fucked up Okada. Luckily, Okada responded really, really well. But they did do well with it. But there were some elements where they did get a mistake. And Bleach is asking, is Jordan Grace on roids?
Well, if she was, she'd be suspended. So no.
Yeah, but her voice has definitely changed, though.
Yeah.
Like, for the worst part. But the only problem I had mainly with the New Japan partnership was Okada. And also Jeff Hardy winning at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
Was ridiculous.
Drunk and high and all of that stuff.
Exactly. It was really poor. They should have replaced that match with something else. It was bad. Even though Hardy looked cool, it was bad.
Even for me, I probably would have just had Mr. Anderson versus Naito.
Yeah, same here. It would have been so much better.
Especially when they had Anderson win the belt at the end of that month anyway.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I think that is pretty much the G1 for nights 8 and 9 covered. Do you have any thoughts on today's show?
It completely blew night 8 out of the water. Like, it was really well done. Apart from the Evil match, which is the only...
it's almost at this point you've got to kind of discount the Evil matches because they're all the same though.
Yeah.
Like you should never be going into any match with Evil on the card thinking that it's going to be anything good.
Yeah, I agree. But overall, I still really enjoyed the show. I thought it was really well done. Yeah, it was really well done.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah. And then from yourself, and obviously I know you've got some things on tonight. You've got yourself to crack on with.
Well, honestly, no. Just happy to be back with the G1 stuff. It's really kicking off now, and it's getting exciting to see who's going to make it through and who isn't.
Well, there's another big tournament coming up after this as well.
Oh, yeah.
Same country, different company. We've got the N1 as well, so that'll be a fun one to look at.
It will be, yeah.
We can see about reviewing the M1 because Noah, we need to get Noah back in on this for the enjoyment. So so guys, obviously Josiah can't do the full show tonight. He does have other things on, but please obviously give the boss man big massive applause for that. Big thanks to Josiah. He will be back, of course, next week. And to be fair, he might pop in for the SummerSlam predictions if he wants, or he can just do it on the chat.
I may be around for the predictions, but I will definitely be in the chat for it. But depending on what I'm doing, I will pop in.
Hell yeah. And even if you decide to just pop in on the quiz part, you're more than welcome.
Okay.
But absolutely, my man. Top tier as always. It is good seeing you, and it's good to have you back on. I hope you're feeling
it's
better.
good to be back. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Take care. Everyone have a good stream, and I will obviously check in to see what I've missed when I can.
Top man. Catch you later,
take
buddy.
care.
Deuces.
Yeah. Catch you later. Deuces.
And that is just like, guys, I'm just going to take a short 30-second break just so I can just relax, get a bit of a breath, because again, I'm on painkillers, so I'm a little bit wild. I'm not tired, but as Abo and Roy Sheen were asking and suggesting, I am not tired. I'm just sore, so I'm on painkillers, but don't worry about it. I'm here, so I'm going to take a quick 30-second break. Don't go anywhere. Just relax, decompress, and we'll resume in a moment. And we are going to start with... We'll start with Ring of Honor. We'll start with Ring of Honor this time. Okay, 30 seconds starts. We are back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get through as much as we can, and then we'll see where it goes. Yeah, it's just going to be like 20 questions, maybe 30. Haven't decided yet. And it'll be just on SummerSlam. Like past SummerSlam events, etc., like random stuff. No. It's not tonight. I'm not rushing to do that just yet. I need to finish writing it, obviously. I can't just jump into a quiz for it being fully written. I mean, I did say it's on the SummerSlam prediction stream. Okay, so our first match of Ring of Honor is a tag team match. It is the conglomeration, New Japan Strong Overweight Champion Tomohiro Ishii and Hologram versus the MXM Collection. Christ almighty. Match starts with an early blitz from Ishii and Hologram. An early blitz where they take out Mansoor and a double drop toe hold on Mason, because he tries to get involved and he fails spectacularly. He lands on top of Mansoor and causes a back and forth between both tag team partners. MXM got a bit of response on Ishii and they really took it to him in the corner, the neutral corner. They couldn't react to it. And then obviously before he tried to get back in his tag team partner in the ring, Hologram, Johnny TV yanks him to the mat. Really well done. He did, however, Hologram eventually get the hot tag. The crowd were behind Hologram. It was nice to see. It was a lot of good lucha action. Head scissors takedown, then we got a suicide dive on Mason. The classic all members in the ring brawling each other. And then Ishii gave a assisted brainbuster on Mason, and then Hologram would get the win and the victory for his team with a 450 splash on Mansoor. Good match. My only concern is, and I agree with what Josiah said earlier on, funnily enough, is Ishii should not be here. He should be in New Japan at the G1 or be involved in some way, somehow. It didn't feel smart, but I did like the involvement at least. It was a decent match. It was a good range of style. You can see the two powerhouses with good connection. And it's not a bad match at all. There's a video package recapping Athena versus Alex Windsor, which was on last Saturday's Collision. That was a title match for the Ring of Honor World title. Athena, of course, did win that match, preserving her reign as the forever Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. Up next in singles action, Gringo Loco versus John Cruz. It was an obvious win by Loco, and he wins it with a split-legged moonsault. I'll be very honest. This match was more about Cruz being a bitch than a wrestler. I think they're sparking a reaction from him. It wasn't great, if I'm being very honest. You can definitely ignore this one if you want to, and I wouldn't blame you. A shock match next, another back-to-back singles match, is Jimmy Jacobs versus Blake Christian, or the Vanilla Bastard himself. Jacobs aims for a sliced bread to no avail. Plenty of super kicks and the rolling Spicoli driver. Gets a 2 count. Christian kinda. He gets a near fall, of course. Christian gets back up, locks in the Vanilla Choke Zero, wins by submission, and then turns to the camera, and he's challenged Bandido. He wants the Ring of Honor World Title. Blake, long story short, you don't deserve it. There's a recap here of Paul Walter Hauser. He was on the No Contest Wrestling podcast. Obviously he was really disappointed about the Revolution Zero Hour show in March, and QT Marshall threw alcohol over him, and that did disappoint Paul, because obviously Paul's been sober for quite a long time, and it disappointed him that it obviously affected his sobriety, which is unfortunate. Similar to Rhino, of course. Rhino had a sobriety angle in TNA several years ago. They're not fun angles to do. But the fact that it took 5 months to get to this moment is just really funny. Zelua versus Virus in a pure rules match. Double underhook submissions into pinfalls is just really fun. We got a reverse figure 4, to which we get the first rope break from Zelua after Virus plants her in that figure 4. A cloverleaf stretch, which nearly got the win as well, but Virus gets the ropes. Virus used the vertebraker, and then we got a little bit of a kick out and a bit of the rope, so that obviously counts as a rope break, which ruins it. But Virus taps out to the shoelace submission, which again is an effective move for Zelua. And the problem with Zelua is Zelua's not pushing on, and I don't know how you can change that. I don't know how you change that, but Zelua's not a bad wrestler by any means. It's just trying to find a position for them. Your main, there is a plug obviously for Dustin Rhodes versus Kyle Fletcher, which was on last night's Collision, which we're going to speak about. Then it's the main event. It is for the Ring of Honor World Title. Bandido defends against Adam Priest. Priest is accompanied by the Workhorsemen, but they get sent back to they get sent back to the locker room. Bandido, he of course is doing double duty because he's doing Ring of Honor and Collision at the same time. He's a pure workhorse. He is one for the people, Bandido. Code of Honor, we got that. It was nice to see. Then Priest hit the minute after the handshake, Priest hits a forearm, stuns the champion, but Bandido then comes back with a delayed vertical suplex. And I like as well that because of the languages he speaks, English, Spanish, and Japanese, the crowd can say whatever they want, and Bandido just endorses it, which I thought was really nice. He gets a Priest counters back with a drop kick, and then Bandido responds with a springboard. The crowd are fully behind the champion, and it just shows like the fans are, when the fans are into it, the fans get excited. The fans can really be a major talking point, and you've got to just let it go, and that's what I like about it. Bandido obviously gets a frog splash, but he fails. But Priest counters into a backbreaker. The annoying thing about this again, I'm going back to it. I'm sick of the Eddie Guerrero moveset. Bandido does that whole shimmy thing that Eddie did, which allows Adam Priest to recover. Priest goes for the Three Amigos. On the third suplex gets reversed by Bandido, and Bandido hits a suplex of his own. Priest plants a half crab on the champion, but Bandido gets the ropes, and then he wins the match by effectively hitting a frog splash. Ring of Honor last night, really good show. Start to finish, the flow was good. Having a main event world title match that actually delivered and allowed a young star to Blossom was really good. I thought there was a lot of emphasis on technical wrestling last night, a lot more than the previous show last week. You're starting to see who are the mainstays of the Ring of Honor show on Honor Club, and I like this. My only concern is when they don't put them on, it sort of delays. It sort of delays the show from getting any momentum. But last night they got that. I really enjoyed it. It was good wrestling all around. There was good backstage segments. There was good interactions. It was excellent. It was one of the best Ring of Honor on Honor Club episodes in a very long time. So fair bloody dues to them. Fair bloody dues. We are going to move on to TNA next. This was actually a well done episode. This is actually a good one. So just to cover what's on TNA last night, Mike Santana obviously addresses the TNA audience about Slammiversary. We get a rematch for the Knockouts title as Masha Slamovich invokes her rematch clause against the champion JC Jane. For the first time since Slammiversary, when he won the X Division Championship, Leon Slater defends against Cedric Alexander and Jason Hotch. We get the Rascals version 3, Myron Reed and Zachary Vance versus the Nemeths. And then we also have Knockouts action, Indy Hartwell with Danny Luna against Jodie Fret. She's accompanied by Ariana Grace. And then Sami Callihan to round things up. Not a bad lineup, not a bad outlook on the show, but it's certainly a fun one. So let's look at positives and negatives. So this is the first positive. It's a triple threat for the X Division title. The negative is this match was less than 5 minutes long. This is what I think of that. Looks like I might be going to Collision August 20th. Well, seeing about it. I don't think I'm going to go to... I don't think I'll be at the Dynamite, but we'll see. I think they're the same. I'm sure they are the same day. 2 weeks on Wednesday. Funnily enough, that is. Sorry, 3 weeks on Wednesday. Anyway, yeah, so this triple threat match is the first time that Leon Slater is going to defend his title, but it's so fast. I hope so as well. It'll be my. I didn't go to the Dynamites when they were here. They just did pay per view. I'm hoping I get to go to this. I'm not going to Forbidden Door. Like I can't. But I'll take this. Like that's still something. So Alexander hits a flatliner, gets a near fall. This is on Leon Slater, but obviously he kicks out. We get a Michinoku driver. No success there. Slater gets a knee strike from Hotch. And then we get a double moonsault. Slater catches Hotch with hanging twist of fate. And then a 450 swanton. The fact that Hotch gets squashed is really embarrassing. There is a post-match argument between Slater and Alexander. They have words with each other about the match, and he says that he just sneaked by and just fluked the win. We're getting a rematch at Emergence between Leon Slater and Cedric Alexander for the X Division title. And then after this, Master Sandwich promises to reclaim the TNA Women's title. Well, Knockouts title, I should say. We get action from the women, because it's always good to have women's action. It's always good to get women's action. Let's just make it plain and simple. Shove your Miss NXT up your arse. But, yeah. Victoria Crawford also comes out to this match. Good exchange between Luna and Jodie Fret. There's something there. I think they're gonna have a turn of sorts. There's a moment where Danny Luna falls to the mat and Grace held the ring ropes, but she doesn't take advantage. And that lets Indy Hartwell take the hot tag. Hartwell gets a spine buster and a near fall. Jodie Fret, after Danny Luna tags back in, gets a Michinoku driver. And then we get a Luna landing for the win, which is obviously her amazing sit-out powerbomb. But again, what the hell is going on with the Knockouts division? They're signing good talents, but the stories aren't there. The wrestling is there, but it's not kicking on a bit. I feel like it's a little slow. Good show so far, but it feels like some things are just missing. Little bits of spark, which I know they can find because it's not impossible. Like, it's not impossible, but they have to just get there. Backstage, Jake something shouts Steve Macklin, and obviously he wants the TNA International title. And we got a stare down between champion and possible challenger. I quite like that. Give me that match. The Rascals versus the Nemeths. Again, these matches are very short on TV. I'm starting to get a little bit concerned. Even though the wrestling is good, they're still so short. During the entrance of the Rascals, the Nemeths try to attack, but they obviously backfire and they hit moonsaults. Nick Nemeth really controlled the match for the brothers. It was really well done. And there's a clothesline at that point after he goes for an initial dive. Nick hits a Hangman's neck breaker. Derails Myron Reed at that point. Back suplex attempt from Ryan obviously is broken out by Myron Reed. And then Nick drops the big elbow. Stundog Millionaire counter on a suplex. and gets the tag on Vince. Vince gets back in, and he is absolutely crazy at this point. Like, he is tearing them both up, but the Nemeths are very clever with their tag team. They've become a very good team, even though Ryan Nemeth sucks balls. Like, the chemistry is there. Like, there's a DDT, then the Famouser. I like it. In a way, even though there's still some good things there, there's some things that's just quite horrific. Myron Reed hits Nick Nemeth with the Flame On, and then Vince with the Spiral Tap on Ryan gets the pin. So good. Commercial break. The Nemeths are still in the ring. They're complaining they lost their tag team titles at Slammiversary. They announced they want their rematch at Emergence. Ryan Nemeth is just talking down the Hardys for winning the titles in a stunt show. Absolutely funny. Like, absolutely funny. Hometown Man comes out to defend his hometown, demands an apology. Get rid of this fucking loser. They try to obviously reveal who he is, but then he starts singing the Hometown Man song. I really can't take this seriously at all. He gets his head kicked in, which is beautiful. Security comes out. Nick Nemeth starts kicking them. Like, he just tears into them. And then the Rascals obviously make them flee. Whose house? Swerve's house. I think the reality is this was just really poor. And I've seen TNA diehards defend that fucking gimmick, and I'm like, you're all a bunch of plebs. Like, you're selling out the promotion just to get your knickers taken down by WWE and fucked up the arse. Because that's literally what they're doing. They're allowing it. It's a WWE gimmick, and it's horrible. Like, it makes me want to puke. Oddly enough, speaking of founding fathers, and we know that's a thing in AEW, but Frankie Kazarian dresses up like Elvis for this show. And he claims he's not respected enough about being the founding father of TNA. The disrespect, in his own words, are disgusting. Oh, literally, Zodiac. The disrespect is piling. He talks about the disrespect from Carlos Silva, who is a fucking fraud. The gimmick is horrible, and he needs to be fired. He is a reason why it's a nuisance. Out from the crowd, the man himself, Mike Santana. We know he's going to talk about losing his title match. He talks about how he got, how he lost, and the accountability that he's taken for it. There's a "You got robbed" chant. He walks to the ring, talks about how his daughter had to watch him lose at Slammiversary. He does well here, Santana. This is a very strong promo. Very strong. And I really liked it. I have no complaints. I think the atmosphere was good. I think the only thing that would have made it better is if he started being a little bit more rage. I don't think we got enough rage from Santana. But we certainly got a good promo. Like, a very good promo. was at this point I've obviously just said it, but after this, we do get the confirmation that Leon Slater will face Cedric Alexander with the X Division title on the line at Emergence in a very short match, and I'm not kidding, 3.5 minutes. Masha Slamovich versus JCJ. Masha wins by DQ. Lots of quick early on pins. Jane gets a Hurricane Rana. And then that cow Fallon Henley trips up Masha Slamovich. Jane gets a super kick. And then there's a running neck breaker for a near fall. We get a chin lock. This was horrible. Like, I'm not even going to say anything. This was a disgrace. Like, if you're going to have a DQ finish, fine, but don't rush this match. This felt like a rush show. Like, TNA's flow last night was horrible. I don't think you can say it was pretty good. I think you need to be honest, it was terrible. Like, it was so damn terrible. And even so, that bitch Dana Brooke gets involved as well. I'm sorry, but this was overdone. This was so badly done. Yeah, TNA this week were the weak link. TNA injury report, Moose has a hip injury, but he's sadly wrestling, which is crap. Talks about Elijah and his tricep surgery, Mance Warner and Jake something. In the recovery room, we see Casey Navarro. He's not cleared to compete, which AJ France and Trick Williams were not happy. The match changes from a 6-man tag to a regular tag team. Next week, banned from ringside, but Ash versus Ash by Elegance, which is very little, versus JC Jane for the Knockouts World title. And then the winner at some point will face Masha. Horrible. There was no good story on the show. None of them were pushed on. Sorry. The only one you can consider was important was Mustafa Ali. Santana's promo was good. The X Division title match was too short. They generally did not care. Really disappointed. Mustafa Ali in Order 4 in the ring. Talking about the outsiders getting their title opportunities. Really poor. This is going to lead to Mustafa Ali potentially becoming a babyface, but it doesn't work because he's a much better heel. He asked he asked the crowd who wants to see Mustafa Ali become the next TNA World Champion, to which the crowd booed. He calls Joe Hendry a fraud, and of course Joe Hendry appears. Joe Hendry mocks Skylar, which is just slightly funny. And then a match is requested by Joe for Ali, but it won't be tonight, it'll be next week. Hendry's going to lose. Like, Mustafa Ali will beat him clean in the ring. Tom Hannafan and Sami Callihan talked about Callahan's future in wrestling. Callahan talked about his body issues, which is understandable, and the leg break. He asked for a match against Mike Santana at Emergency if he still got it. If Callahan loses, he'll retire in Baltimore. I think it's plain and simple. Callahan, he is gonna turn heel in Baltimore. He's gonna turn heel in Baltimore. I don't think he's gonna lose to Santana. I think he's gonna turn heel. It's a play. Next week we have 2 title matches. We have Steve Macklin versus Jake Something for the TNA International title. Ash by Elegance versus JC Jane for the Knockouts title, where everyone's banned from ringside. Zaya Brookside and Li Ying Lee versus M and Heather by Crap. And Joe Hendry versus Mustafa Ali, which is likely going to be the main event. Speaking of main events, tag team action, Eddie Edwards and Moose with the Talking Chipmunk defeated AJ France and Trick Williams in a lovely 9:28, the longest match on the card. Bit of a downside though is because of the show, and it just didn't really get going. It was quite a weak crowd tonight. There was very little people there, which is a shame. The crowd didn't help, but the crowd could have made this show better. Early on, obviously, we get Eddie Edwards and Moose throwing Francis and Williams to the outside of the ring. We get a big man's interaction between Moose and Francis. They lock up, and then Moose hits a shoulder block. We get a few more, but doesn't really do anything. And then Francis picks up Moose and then just launches him. We do get the woo chant after Moose goes for some chow. Francis gets a forearm, and it's literally just a hit fest in the crowd, but it's not overly exciting. Williams tags in, he hits a leg lariat, and the crowd do react slightly to that. We go to a break, come back, Francis goes for a suplex on Moose. It's reversed into suplex from Moose on AJ Francis. Eddie Edwards tags in, he hits a forearm. Williams is sent to the floor and he's caught with a tope suicida. Navarro gets involved, he trips up Eddie Edwards as they get back in the ring. And then Williams knocks him down with a clothesline. Tags in Francis, and there was nothing here. This was really nothing. Edwards has a blue thunder bomb, and both tags were made. Moose and Trick come into the ring. Moose hits him with a Uranagi and a senton. Good combination. And then we got a pop-up power bomb for a near fall from the former X Division champion Moose. We get a slight shock here when Navarro tries to hit Moose with his crutch. Instead, he hits Trick Williams. Moose would then hit the champion with a spear and gets the win. By looks like we're going to get Moose versus Williams for the TNA World title at Emergence. If they do that, they don't often do TNA World title matches at Emergence. There's very few in between. But we'll see. We shall see. I feel like TNA rushed this show by removing key timings from good product areas. The women were so underutilized. It's actually quite depressing. And the fact that the X Division title was not even the main event and it was so short, I can't even praise that. I really can't praise that at all. I want it to be better because I love TNA, but I can't. Like, last week was a great show. This week was shocking. It was shocking in the fact that they could have built up more, but instead they chose not to. They chose to be slightly underwhelming. I want to see a better show next week. I'm hoping next week will be a better show. But I'm not going to lie. You can skip TNA and you're not missing much. This week's show, you can skip it. You haven't missed much. Just being true to my word. Collision, last review, and then after that, I'm going to bounce. Just really poor. Just really poor match placements. Just really poor. Okay, last one, then I'm off. So, show starts with Darby Allin kidnapping Jon Moxley. And then back in the ring, we have Statlander versus Lana Cross. It's a decent match. Overall, I think we've got a bit of time in between for these two. I do indeed, Maria. Yes, I do indeed. This is a decent women's match. This is far better than the TNA ones. I think TNA need to get back to focusing on the women's division being shining. Because this week they didn't get to shine. Which is a shame. Not yet. Soon, but not yet. Statlander wins with a brand new submission finisher. It's like a modified Rings of Saturn. Really like that. And then in another women's match, as Statlander makes her way up the entrance ramp, we get Willow Nightingale. and she's in action against Thekla. This was decent. This wasn't better than the previous match, but it was nice. I think we got some good power out of Willow, but I think Thekla's established now. But this became more of a who's out to get violent, because everyone just gets involved at the very end. Like, so many people get involved. Stat and Willow, the first women's tag champs, maybe. I'm not sure. Wouldn't mind it, but I think it's going to be Bane Ford. No, Willow shouldn't have won at all. She didn't need to win this one. We get a men's tag match this time. It's the Bang Bang Gang versus FTR. Tag team title eliminator tournament. Daniel Garcia's on commentary. Sigh. I'll be truthfully honest. The first half of this match was no. You don't rush the end of a faction. You've got to let the split needs to be good. You don't want to just end it. It needs to end well. If you just end it quickly, then it's quite poor. I love the fact that there was Jay White and Colton Gunn card cutouts. It was really good. Willow Nightingale got mugged after the match, but Willow Nightingale should not have won the match. I'm glad that they had Thekla win. That was the right thing to do. Second half of the match was so much better. They were more in tune with each other. The tag teams were able to work properly. It felt like a tag match. The first half, awful. In typical faction, of course, FTR win with the roll-up. A little bit of cheap, dirty tactics, but that's just what you do. And they will face the winner of Bro Dido or the Young Bucks. He claims to be the best wrestler alive, but we know he's not. Max Caster comes out and he takes the piss out of Bowens. His challenge this week is Roosh. And Caster, for all the work he does, I thought it was funny. Like, I thought it was absolutely funny that he runs around the ring just trying to take the piss out of Rush, but then he just knocks him off with one fist. Barricade to barricade, post to post. He just beats the holy hell out of him. And I like that for once Max Caster's went the 5 minutes without losing. But it was just so crazy that Roosh just did not care. He just kept beating him up the whole way through. And then LFI, of course, comes out and attacks him. AR Fox, Kevin Knight, and Mike Bailey made the save, which is a strange thing. The crowd were still booing Max Caster as well, which is even better. Oh, yeah, he did. He did. 2 matches left. We have Shane Taylor Promotions versus Skyflight in action. So it's Scorpio Sky, Dante, and Darius Martin versus Shane Taylor, Carly Bradwell, and Sean Dean. Good tag team action. This was a far better tag match. You can see the teams actually working together. They actually have a good energy. And it was the right team that won, not the established faction, but the new faction. Skyflight get the win because it's Scorpio Sky that gets the result. Nothing much to say, really. It's just a good 6-man match. Yeah, it was good for that. And then the main event, Chicago street fight, violent as fuck. This was violent. Dustin Rhodes defends against Kyle Fletcher, the TNT Championship. Dustin Rhodes he leads the match really well. He lands some heavy strikes on the Kyle Fletcher. Yet Kyle Fletcher won. There was some heavy dominant strikes, but Kyle Fletcher obviously gets revenge of the kendo stick. And I love that we don't get technical wrestling, we just get violence. He'll get a rematch and he'll lose. I like the fact that both men just took it to each other. They didn't care. They didn't hold back. They didn't hold back for each other, and I like that. Kyle Fletcher's ready for this title run, and I love that Dustin did business. Like, you can see that he cares, and that's what's good about it. And then before commercial break, we got both men through the table. I really liked it. Both men did not hold back on each other. They were so aggressive. If this went longer, I would have been happy. There's an iron claw with a glove full of thumbtacks on Kyle Fletcher. And speaking of the iron claw, that is on Netflix next week. Next Saturday, the Iron Claw comes to Netflix. Oh yeah, Dustin was hanging in there. Dustin's a good wrestler. Speaking of Don Callis, he does give Kyle Fletcher a screwdriver. And he does hit the champion in the head. He then stabs him in the knee and the leg, bringing him down any way he can to reduce his involvement. But obviously, Dustin does not give up. We nearly gets a roll up, but Kyle Fletcher kicks out of that and he hits a brainbuster on the thumbtacks to win. Really enjoyed that. And I liked before the match as well, the Darby Allin segment with Jon Moxley, throws him over a fire escape. Really well done. Absolutely, Maria. We got new entrance music as well. And even better is it was his WCW theme song. Loved that. The table spot on Fletcher. And the avalanche, and I'll give credit to Dustin for one thing. That avalanche Canadian Destroyer was incredible. That was the best move of the week. Best move of all wrestling this week. Loved it. And I like the involvement that we got. And absolutely, Fernando, it was the right decision. It's patience in the best way, and they pulled it off. I was really excited. But I did like what we saw. Really good stuff. And that's something I want to see. Also, I forgot about to say as well, the opening card, which was GOA versus Brodito. If you haven't watched that, it's really good. Like, Toa Leona, for example, has really come into his own ever since he's changed his physique. Brody King's suicide dive is awesome. Darby Allin looked sick when he appeared. Like, his face paint is up there. But I love them as a team. I love their dynamic together. It works for me. I've got no fault. Bandito's brilliant, Abu. He is so good. This is a much better show. I think Collision on Thursdays is good. I like that they're not putting up against a pay-per-view anymore. They're just doing their own thing. And it helps. But credit to them where credit's due. It's a good show. And so was this. And because this is a good show, I'm going to say thank you all. I'm going to be back tomorrow, obviously. SummerSlam, full preview and predictions and a quiz. So please do like, share, and subscribe. Share this with your friends. Share this with people that you know loves wrestling. Get them to come and enjoy what matters most, which is the weekly Steelchair. And with that, I bid you all good night. This was a Fatal 4-Way review, and I am the one true champion. I bid you all good night. Thanks, Abu, and I get that, Bleach. But to be fair, I blame Bandido's family because Bandido was excellent in that match. Night, folks.